The modern grant peer review process today is facing a sudden flood of powerful, highly accessible AI tools. Researchers are constantly told these models can eliminate administrative friction and accelerate their workflows. Most reviewers already understand the obvious compliance baseline. Uploading unreleased, proprietary scientific proposals to commercial platforms like ChatGPT or Claude constitutes a severe data breach. This creates a widespread logical assumption among highly sophisticated researchers. If the problem is data transmission, then the solution is simply running a local, air-gapped large language model entirely on their own hardware. The European Research Council rejects this assumption. Their official guidelines explicitly state that a localized, secure model does not guarantee a compliant evaluation. Technical security accounts for the physical journey of the data, but a separate ethical standard dictates who is permitted to perform the intellectual labor of the review. We can visualize the ERC's position through this diagram, which outlines a framework built on two distinct pillars: privacy and non-delegation. These rules govern all AI use in grant evaluation. The first pillar covers privacy and confidentiality. This is the traditional data protection rule. It strictly governs where the proposal data is permitted to travel, preventing transmission to external third parties. The second pillar introduces the non-delegation principle. This rule targets cognitive delegation, the act of outsourcing your intellectual labor to a machine. This non-delegation rule is completely independent of your software's architecture. It is strictly concerned with who is doing the actual scientific thinking. The absolute rule of this framework is that a compliant evaluation workflow must satisfy both pillars simultaneously. There are no exceptions. Failing to recognize this second requirement creates the local AI loophole. We have to shift our focus away from cybersecurity and look directly at the ethics of human judgment. This matrix maps out the exact boundaries of acceptable AI use based on the ERC's specific edge cases. On the horizontal axis, we have data security, ranging from external APIs to secure local systems. On the vertical axis, we have cognitive load, scaling from basic linguistic tasks up to complex evaluative judgment. Quadrant 1 represents the absolute violations, using an external API for an evaluative task. If you feed an applicant's bibliography to an external AI to find similar papers, you are violating both data privacy and cognitive delegation at the exact same time. Quadrant 2 is where we dismantle the local loophole. This represents a secure local system performing an evaluative task, and it is the primary zone of professional misconception. Consider ERC Question 2. A reviewer runs a secure, offline AI and asks it to summarize a 50-page proposal, simply to save time. No data is leaked. The ERC explicitly bans this. Understanding the proposal in its complete entirety is the core, undelegable task of a reviewer. Generating a summary prevents you from evaluating the work exactly as the applicant described it. Question 3 addresses a similar scenario, using that same secure AI to evaluate the scientific methodology or to determine the absolute novelty of the applicant's work. Assessing scientific merit is a uniquely human responsibility. You cannot delegate that judgment to a statistical algorithm, regardless of your data privacy settings. In both of these upper quadrants, the AI replaces the reviewer's cognitive labor. Because of that, the security level of the server is completely irrelevant to the violation. Now we drop into the lower half of the matrix to examine the drafting gray area. Here, the system is local, but the cognitive load hovers near evaluation. Look at ERC questions 7 and 8, using AI to generate a first draft of your review, or asking an AI to check if your human written review is missing important points. Generating a draft or determining relevance inherently requires evaluative judgment. Doing this constitutes a delegation of the evaluation task, making it a clear violation even if you heavily edit the text yourself later. Question 5 sits at the precise boundary between linguistic formatting and evaluative drafting, using an AI tool to expand human-written bullet points into full paragraphs. This is strictly conditional. It is only permitted on a secure local tool if the resulting text reflects your original ideas and adds absolutely zero new judgments or interpretations. Moving further down the cognitive axis, we enter Quadrant 4, the permissible zone. This is a secure system performing purely linguistic tasks. This covers Question 4, using AI to polish grammar, improve stylistic flow, or translate a drafted review into English. You must meet 3 strict conditions simultaneously here. You cannot disclose personal data, you cannot send parts of the proposal to an external tool, and you cannot ask the AI to generate novel arguments for you. These edge cases restrict AI to a structural, linguistic support role. The framework effectively partitions the mechanics of writing from the logic of evaluation. If we remove the technical variables entirely, we are left with this core philosophy, the strict balance between presentation and substance. The ERC has drawn a hard epistemological line here. They separate the mechanics of writing a review report from the actual merit of evaluating the scientific proposal. In this framework, AI is acceptable when used as a structural lens. It is a tool designed solely to remove linguistic friction, which is highly valuable for reviewers who are not native English speakers. Contrast that with its strictly forbidden role as a cognitive proxy, a tool used to replace human reading, filter scientific relevance, or synthesize judgment. Translation preserves the exact boundaries of a thought while changing its presentation. Summarization removes those boundaries entirely, replacing precise nuance with an algorithm's approximation. Ultimately, this framework exists to protect a foundational axiom of academic peer review. Human scientific judgment cannot be automated. The technological landscape will continue to shift as new AI models are released, but the core rules will not. The dual-pillar framework is deliberately designed to outlast these software updates because it focuses entirely on human behavior rather than specific tech brands. When you sit down to review a proposal and consider using a tool to save time, you can rely on this final, practical heuristic. Are you saving time via syntax or via cognition? If the tool saves you time by formatting your own thoughts more clearly or fixing your syntax, you are operating within the bounds of the ERC guidelines. If the tool saves you time by thinking, reading, or judging on your behalf, it is a definitive violation, regardless of how secure the software is. True scientific evaluation requires the friction of human cognition. No air-gapped local server can absolve a reviewer of that ultimate responsibility.